You're listening to the Gutsy Podcast, where we talk about all things real, raw, and ridiculous about running a business authentically. I'm Laura Wallace, also known as the Laura Aura, lover of all things inspirational, owner of Works Graphic Design, and your host on this journey through entrepreneurship. I'm here to help you get out of your head and back into action as a passionate business rock star. Tune in every Tuesday and Thursday as we fuel your gutsy. When you started your business, you were probably doing it all, wearing every single hat, learning every single trick, and just trying to figure out how in the hell to get things done. And then there comes a turning point. You've added some people, delegated a few tasks, relied on a handful of experts to guide you along the way. So what in the hell is wrong? Why do you keep hitting a ceiling? Why do you continue to be frustrated? Why are you not where you thought that you were supposed to be or that you would be at this point in your business? Something clearly is not going right. Why are you still stressed and overwhelmed and questioning every freaking move? Now, on this business journey, I have learned that it's never really over. I hate to say that, but that's kind of the honest truth. It's like, again, I compare business to parenthood. You learn a certain amount of things and then a new trick comes about and you have to learn and navigate your way through that as well. And yet, even though it's not necessarily supposed to get quote unquote easy, it should be a little bit more efficient. There should be growth. The initial startup stress should start to reduce. Your flexibility should start to increase. But most business owners never find themselves getting to that position. Most people, the business runs them. They don't run the business. And that's a really frustrating place to be because you didn't start your business for it to rule you. You started it so that you can make more money and have more flexibility and be able to be with your family more or travel more or dig more into the thing that you do best. But lo and behold, what happens? You end up becoming a prisoner to your very own dream. I can completely relate to you. For years, I have hit the same effing financial ceiling. I've been stressed and overwhelmed and overworked, and anxiety and depression and weight gain and hair loss and you name it, I have experienced some form or fashion of it. On the outside, it's like, yeah, everything looks fine and dandy. But on the inside, you're wondering how in the hell you are still in this position and how in the hell you're going to do it again tomorrow. For well over a decade, I have completely just kind of scratched and clawed my way through this whole business thing. I don't have a business degree. I have a degree in graphic design. I was a graphic designer made businesswoman. So everything that I know, I have learned either by failing and figuring it out or absorbing information or surrounding myself with people that know what the hell they're doing. And you know what? I have made a shit ton, let me emphasize, shit ton of mistakes along the way. Yeah, I've done some really incredible things in my career, but looking back at this moment, I realized how many errors that I have made that have contributed to me making myself hit my own ceiling. These were not outside forces. No one put this on me. I had to learn the really rough and ugly way that I've not necessarily made the best decisions. And a lot of it's naive, right? If I've never known it, you wouldn't know that it's a mistake. But the beauty in this is I got fed up. I got pissed off, and I knew that deep down inside, my dream was bigger than whatever obstacle was in front of us. And that's what I want for you. So this is a two-part episode because there's such deep insight. I'm literally going to walk you through every change that we made at Works & Co. to overcome these obstacles, to take our business from really struggling and just scratching our way through to just fucking thriving with happiness and beauty and financial abundance. I've realized too that business is like an onion. There are a ton of layers that need pulled back to get to the core. Just when I thought I fixed one thing, it was like peeling off a layer and the tears came out all over again. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't think that I could do anything else. I didn't think that there were any other mistakes or errors. Like, how is this continue to show up? Why is there so much? Well, there's a lot of years and there's a lot of experience and there's a lot of the way that we've done things. Now, we have a growth mindset, and I think that's such an important aspect in business. But business owners get comfortable. You continue to do things because that's the way that you know how to do them. And then your mind is like a vault. All of these things are locked up inside of you and you don't even realize how they're affecting your growth and your business. So now that I have made my way through the onion, and it's not perfect, I'm sure that there's going to be new obstacles, but here's the beautiful thing. All the big aspects, all the nitty-gritty details, all the like voluptuous oh shit things, they're taken care of now. That brain capacity is back. That energizing momentum is back. We don't have to worry about all the things behind us. Now we can solely focus on the things in front. And that's what I want for you. So definitely grab your pen and paper. We're going to dig through the first six mistakes that are keeping you from growing your business. And I'm also going to tell you how to fix them because we can talk about all the challenges all day long, but if you don't know how to implement it, that's only half the battle. I also want you to overcome these so that you can get back to why you started your business in the first place. If you can learn from my mistakes and then either avoid them or cut the time in half or in a fraction, then kudos. Let's do it. Let's get into it. So, the first mistake that you are making in your business that's keeping you from growing is focusing on too many initiatives. I like to call this shiny object syndrome, and I only like to call it because I've had other people tell me this. Over the years, you've probably expanded your product line, joined a handful of organizations, maybe you've added some services or taken on new responsibilities. All of this adds up very, very quickly. And what typically happens is it ends up in diluted efforts across lots of things instead of nailing something very specific. You're going to end up really tired. You're going to feel spread too thin. You're going to feel like you're doing a whole lot of work and not moving the needle. At the end of the day, you're going to think, wow, I was super busy today, but I feel really unaccomplished. You have a huge heart, and I know that you want to help people, and I know that you want to add on services, and I know you're excited about stuff, and especially if you're a visionary, this is a really slippery slope because you can come up with shit all day long, but the power is in the plan behind it. So, how do you fix it? I want you to start by making a list of everything that you and your company are doing. Create some columns for each of the areas of your business, like your services and your products, your different memberships, things of that nature. And evaluate every single area of your business. I want you to go through, and I'm a huge component of if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. I need you to really start looking at your business from an outside perspective. You are so in it day to day. You know the ins and the outs. You know everything you've been through. You know everything that you're working towards. You know every single person that's been involved. And it just starts to become kind of personal. As we're working through these mistakes, I really need you to start looking at your business from a non subjective standpoint, meaning I kind of need you to take your heartstrings out of it for a little while. So, yeah, I know that you really still want to volunteer and be on that committee because, Sally Joe has a good friend and she helped you 3 years ago and all. We have to stop building our business to please other people. It's killing your business and it's killing your soul. It's killing your energy. You cannot do this anymore if you want your business to thrive. So after you've made a list of everything, I'm talking every service, every aspect of your business, every organization that you're part of, every committee that you're on, anything that your business is doing, get it down on paper. I know that you're used to thinking everything in your head, but that's not serving you well either. You need to be able to go through these things with a pen. Like it's really satisfying to be able to go through and be like, nope, nope. Once you lay all these things out, you're going to realize just how much you're actually doing in your business and how much needs to go. So if you go through the list and it's not a hell yes, I need you to put a line through it. We'll deal with those, what comes after that later. But for now, I need you to really just be able to be open to clearing your plate. Bottom line, if you're not insanely excited about doing it and it's not adding to your bottom line, it's gotta go. This is going to allow you to put your sole focus on the things that are moving you forward instead of spreading your arms and trying to grab everything and everyone around you. When you're focused on less things more frequently and more in depth, You're going to start seeing a significant change, not to mention the fact you're going to feel 100 pounds mentally lighter. Mistake number two, not training future leaders. As the business owner, it is so easy to get in the mentality that if you don't do it, then it's not going to be done right, or it'll just be faster if you do it yourself. This mindset does two things to you. One, it's going to keep you really bogged down, overworked, stressed, freaking out, like feeling like you're never getting anything accomplished. And two, it stunts your growth. You're one person, and if you are continuously trying to do all of it yourself, you're maxing yourself out every day. Not to mention that you are creating a ceiling within your business. Because if you are not investing in future leaders in your business, in the four walls that you do what you do best in, then you will never succeed past where you are right now. And if you do, it's going to be hard as shit. So, how do you fix it? Well, first, you got to learn to let some things go. Look, I know that you are super intimate with your business. You know every aspect of it, but you cannot do it all. And if you continue to insist on doing it all yourself, nothing's going to change. Your business will not grow. You're going to continue to stay stressed out, tired, and overworked, and you're probably never going to hit the financial goals that you have. I'm all about getting things out of your head and down onto paper. So, to fix this one, I want you to make a list of every single task that you do, all the way down to answering the phone. Because just because you are good at it doesn't mean that you should be doing it. And being able to identify where your business needs you the most, like being the face of the company or the primary salesperson or managing the company financials, you know where you serve the company the best. And if you don't know, this is a great exercise to really just look at it. Like, are answering the phones where you're serving your company best? Probably not. Are you good at it? I would imagine, but that does not mean that you should be investing your time in it. When you create this particular list, you're going to be like, well, shit, it's no wonder I'm exhausted because I'm doing way too much. The concept here is less is more. Just like back in number one, when you dilute yourself across so many different platforms, doing so many different things, you can't do any of them extremely well. Once you've identified the areas that you do not need to be serving your company in, the next thing is to make time to train your people. You have to teach them how to help you and then let them do it. Give them the time, give them the guidance. And I know it takes time to train guys. I know you're like, damn it, if I just do it myself, then it'll just get done that much faster. But here's the issue with that. With that mentality, you cannot grow past where you are right now. Why? Because every time that task comes up, you have that same mentality. And that eats up a lot of time over time. It may not seem like a big deal, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, but over a few times a week, that times a few times a month, times how much per the year, if you take an hour or two or a day, whatever it takes to train people to be able to assist, one, you're empowering them to contribute to the company, you're investing in their knowledge, and you're investing in yourself by allowing other people to help the business grow. You've got to get your hands out of the pot, ladies and gentlemen. Doing everything does not make you a rock star. Training people around you and then delegating and then trusting, that's where rock star status comes from. The third mistake that is keeping your business stuck is not evolving your brand. I'm going to guess that your personal style has evolved over the decades. You probably don't dress the same today as you did when you were 15, let's say. Look, the only time that I am wearing flannel, way too much black eyeliner, ripped jeans, and chucks is when AJ and I go to a 90s party. That's not my day-to-day outfit anymore. That's not who I am. Your business is the same. It's probably a whole lot different today than when you launched it a couple months or a couple of years ago. It's grown, it's matured, it's evolved. The business has learned things. You've probably figured out who your target audience is, who your best clients are, geographically, where you should be working more often. And let's face it, most people are bootstrapping when they're starting. So the branding and marketing that either you created yourself or hired a friend's sister's neighbor's brother to help with, which is fine. In that moment, it's fine if that's what you need to do. But if you're still using those same branding and marketing materials 2, 3, 5, 10 years in, chances are that's a huge reason why you're having a challenging time growing your business. If you're still using the same photocopied brochure that you made in Microsoft Word and your content hasn't been updated in over a half a decade, you're probably not properly educating the world on the value that you bring. And that's really what the base of branding is all about, is establishing the value that you bring to your clients. So how do you fix it? Well, your brand is often one of the very first things that people evaluate when they are deciding to work with you or not. You've heard that first impressions make a lasting impression. Well, guess what? Your brand, and when I say your brand, I'm talking about the look of your business, the feeling that it gives. So, yes, we're talking about logo and color schemes and fonts and photos, but we're also talking about the personality of your brand, how it sounds in your content, and how it makes people feel. One of the first pieces of advice that I offer brand new businesses is to build in branding and marketing into your budget, into your marketing plan. Your brand and the way that your business looks has a profound impact on people's decision to do business with you. Let's take Tesla for an example. If their branding and marketing was outdated, unstructured, unappealing, and did not speak to their target audience, do you think that they would be where they are today? No, I'm going to guess not. But instead, their branding is very sleek, it's modern, it's consistent, it's sharp, and it really paints a picture for what their target audience is looking for in a car, but also in life. If you went to Tiffany & Co. in New York City and they handed you a brochure that had white out, scratched out labels all over it, their website looked different than what their Instagram account looked like, their content seemed kind of dated, and it had misspellings all throughout it, chances are you're not investing $250,000 in a diamond ring with them. A solid cue of knowing whether or not it's time to evolve or change your brand are a couple of things. Do you feel embarrassed when you hand out your business card? Are you resisting giving people your website because you're like, oh, it's outdated, it's got an old team member's picture on it, and I haven't updated the content, and I just haven't had time to do all these things? Are you not posting on social media on a regular basis? Or do you just not tell people where it's at because it hasn't been updated in the last 18 months? Is your content explaining who you are, what you do, and how it makes a difference? Is it leaning into your client and their pain points and how you're going to help solve that for them? Are there marketing materials that you're like, gosh, I wish I had this. This would make my job so much easier. This would make selling so much easier. This would make networking so much easier. If you're not proud and confident in your branding and marketing materials, then you're probably not properly marketing yourself because you're keeping it hidden. Investing in an updated brand like your logo, your marketing materials, a website, your space, your content, it increases your perceived value and boosts the confidence not only in you, but in your customers' decision to buy from you. If this is an area that you feel particularly stuck in, I want to invite you to go to worksand.co, WORX and.co, and book a 15-minute discovery call with Kristen. Because if you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed or you're not even sure where to start, a discovery call is a fantastic first step. No strings attached. Let's just start moving the needle. Mistake number 4, not documenting your processes. This one nearly killed me. Look, as the business owner, all of the information of how you do things and how you have figured things out have been locked in your brain as if your brain is Fort Knox. I mean, the thing is, you don't even really think about doing the things that you do. You just kind of do them, right? It's second nature, and when someone asks you how to do it, you have to literally physically stop and think about it. What ends up happening over time is you have built a ton of processes. In other words, order of operation. When this particular scenario arises, here is how we do things. Here is how we handle things. Here are links to things. Just all the things that you do subconsciously. You know them. they're in the back of your head, but they're not documented anywhere. So every time a new employee comes on, you have to train them, right? They rely on you to teach them the ways. You have a new employee come in, you scramble at the 11th hour to find out, where did I put that document? Wait, I didn't write that down. How do I tell them? And they get a portion of it. I would say that you probably train them 70% of the way. And it's not because you're not giving them the time that they need, it's because you're not able to process all of the details of all of the aspects of their job in one training session. And then a new employee comes in and you do the same thing, except the difference this time is they get a slightly different variation of what you train person A with. So now everyone is doing things a little bit differently. And yeah, the goals may be met and things may be happening, but it's harder. Everyone's not in sync. Everyone's not handling things the same way. And they're always, always, always turning back to you for the answer. Now, do you need to be accessible as the leader? Absolutely. But they should also be able to reference back to a set of materials where they can answer questions on their own. The best way to fix this one is to start documenting your processes. Now, as a creative visionary person, this was probably my least favorite exercise because to sit down and think about how I do all the things is not overly exciting. But I saw the value in it, and I saw that my team was struggling. They were not able to do what they needed to do effectively, and we didn't have a system in place. It was working-ish, but it could have worked so much better. And now that they're in place, it absolutely does. While this started off as a giant pain in my ass exercise, it actually turned into one of the best investments of my time that I've ever made. In fact, not too far into the process, I actually started to become like a process junkie. Like I was creating processes for everything. It became so liberating to get stuff out of my head. Here's the beautiful thing. It gets to come out of your head and you no longer have to be the sole keeper of all the information, right? You're not Google, and you shouldn't try to be. This is one of those tasks that you're going to sit down, you're going to open up a Word document and be like, okay, I'm going to type out my processes. And then the crickets are going to chirp and you're going to be like, shit, how do I do anything in my life? It's hard to like put yourself in that mindset. So what we found easiest was just to go through some of our general things. Something as simple as how we answer the phone, communication procedures, customer flow, like when a new client comes in, what happens first? What happens next? Who's involved? Do we follow up in 24 hours or 48 hours? And we just really started to break down different things that we do on a daily basis. And before we knew it, we had a plethora of Word docs ready to go, structured, and now there is no question how just about anything is done here in the office. And when we do identify a new one, we document it immediately. And when we create something new, we document it immediately. I want to tell you that this is, again, one of the best investments of me and my team's time because it created a synchrony between us that made things effortless and seamless, and we're more efficient, and everyone knows what they're doing, and everyone's getting the same training. And when a new person comes in, when our future team grows into works with us, it's there. We can guide them properly and set them up for success. This also goes back to not always looking backwards and reinventing the things that you're doing all the time. When your processes aren't documented, you're consistently trying to figure out how you do the things that you do on a daily basis. I want you to get detailed with these things. Make notes of sticking points and how to overcome obstacles and the order that things need completed in. Make it black and white. The best rule of thumb is if someone picked up that sheet of paper, would they be able to perform that task based off the instructions that you have given? Now, this also doesn't have to be lengthy, detailed paragraphs of crap, right? If that's necessary for a few, that's understandable. But the majority of your processes should be a couple of steps, 1 to 5, 1 to 10, bullet points. What are the easiest, most stripped down ways to explain this to someone by still also giving them the details that they need to do it? This is a game changer, I'm telling you. If there's none of these other things that you do, This is one that's going to drastically change the way that you do business. Mistake number five kind of dovetails right off of this, and that's using too many systems that make work harder. Okay, so you invest in lots of things along the way: programs, apps, systems, all different types of things that are supposed to make working easier. Well, what happens is you end up with a $5.99 subscription here and a $10.99 subscription there, and some are on annual and some are on monthly, and you're using all of these different things to be able to do your work. You see a new program on Facebook or Instagram, and you're like, "Ooh, that would make things easier," and you adopt it in. Well, what ends up happening is you end up with so many different platforms that either one, you're not using it, but you're spending money on it, kind of like the gym, that membership that renews every month for $29.99, and it doesn't hurt enough to get rid of it, but you have it just in case. That's what a lot of these programs are like. So they're either there and you're paying for them, or you're not using them, or B, you have them and you kind of use them, but you don't really understand them. Some example of these things are like project management tools, different software programs, accounting programs, lead tracking systems, industry specific software, apps, plugins, technology. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. So the best way to fix this is look at your budget and evaluate where you're spending. You first have to understand where all of your money is going and if these things are monthly or annual. Now, those annual ones, they're tricky because you forget about them. They're kind of out of sight, out of mind. They pop up every February or every December, and you're like, oh shit, there's that thing that's $500. I forgot about it. Oh well. And then it goes back into the night. What I did is I went through and I looked at my budget and realized how many of these subscriptions were not even being accounted for in my budget. I was paying money that I didn't even realize I was paying money. And that started to really shine a light on shit, we have a lot of stuff that we're kind of using. Shit, we have a lot of systems in place that are not being used at all, but we're paying pretty decent money for. And at first, you're going to feel a little bit like, damn it, I've wasted a lot of time and money. But here's the beautiful thing: now is the time to be able to change and evolve this. Now is the time for you to get more streamlined. We found out that we were using three different programs with three different subscriptions, where I spent about an hour, maybe 90 minutes, researching a different platform that could do all three things for a quarter of the cost. So once we evaluated and decided, hey, this is way better, this is something that we can all use effectively, we immediately transitioned. We transitioned all of our data into this. And yeah, I want you to also acknowledge these things take time to actually do and implement. And I think sometimes that's part of the bigger struggle, is that you don't want to take the time to do it. Changing all of our clients over into a new project management system seemed like a giant thorn in my ass. But now that it's over, it's the most glorious thing on the planet. I'm going to give a shout out to Monday.com. They're not paying me to say this. Not only have they saved us money, but they have made my team more efficient. And that is the beauty of going through all these different things. You can nix all of these unnecessary subscriptions, and if you're only half using it, why are you full paying for it? Go through your budget and make a list of every program, system, and app that you're paying for, listing the services and their monthly and their annual cost. And then I first want you to go through and cancel anything that you haven't used in over 3 months. If they're auto withdrawing, you're going to have to go in and manually cancel these things. I mean, literally get them out of your life. It's just causing clutter and confusion. And then spend some time looking for something that does multiple things that you're paying multiple fees for. We live in such a robust, technologically savvy world. We have so many options at our fingertips. Take some time, whether you're laying in bed on a Sunday afternoon or sitting on your couch in the evening, or you're sitting at your desk. Take some intentional time and look at some software that can do multiple things for less money, helping you to be more efficient and effective. And mistake number 6, the last one we're going to go over in this episode, is not knowing your numbers. Knowing your projected income, expenses, and revenue goals is one of your most valuable assets. You probably started your business with the wing it mentality, which works for a long time. But in order to scale your business, you have to know your numbers like the back of your hand. I mean, when was the last time that you reviewed your expenses? Kind of like we just went over in number five. How many back doors and windows are your money seeping out of that you don't even realize? What's your projected income for next month, for next quarter, for next year? How much are you paying in taxes? What are your profit margins? Some of these things can be really overwhelming, and this is probably an area that I kept blinders up for the longest period of time because I went off of I'm creative. I'm not a numbers person, so therefore I'm going to not know my numbers. Well, one day I got super pissed off and really fed up and realized that no, I'm a businesswoman. I need to know my numbers. I need to love my numbers as much as I love my business. And so do you. You have to make your numbers your bitch. If you're like I was, I'm really naive. I don't really understand this stuff. It kind of feels over my head, so I'll just pretend like it doesn't exist. Hee hee. Yeah, that shit doesn't work. Not if you want to get past where you are. Because if you continue to play that card like I did, you will continue to hit your financial ceiling. You're going to continue to struggle. You're going to continue to show up short or not being able to invest in the things you want to do and always feel like the business is running you. So, how do you fix it? Well, first of all, if numbers are one of your weak areas, I want you to invest your time by learning how to better understand them. I started talking to financial mentors, reading books, listening to podcasts. And while I can't say that I've 100% nailed it, I can tell you that from a year ago today, I'm a completely different person in the numbers game. You probably feel overwhelmed and intimidated by your numbers, and that's okay. But here's the thing, if you want to grow and you want to succeed, you have to know how to manage your money well. I saw a meme one time and it's like, if you can't manage $100,000, how are you going to manage $1 million? And it's so true. You really have to get into the depths and understand it. Now, you don't have to spend 40 hours a week on your numbers, but setting aside some time, like every Monday is my internal day at works. That's when I'm spending my time doing my portion of numbers and finances and setting my team up for success in our project management system and really just digging into the depths of my business. I want you to block in some time to get to know your numbers better because they really can be your best friend. And I'm not freaked out anymore looking at my numbers. I'm not avoiding opening up files. I'm not avoiding looking at my budget. I'm not avoiding looking at my bank account anymore. I'm empowered by it. And even though it's not perfect, I know that I'm backing it up with the systems and the processes to be able to really nail it. And you can too. It's okay to not really understand it. Most business owners are not accountants. You didn't start your business to manage money. But to be able to have a successful business, it's time to dig into the roots of your finances. Whew. Oh, I'm just getting started, but I'm going to pause us there because there are five more mistakes. But I just want to kind of recap what we've talked about today. I want to make sure that you understand that if you are making one, two, or all of these mistakes, that's okay. But guess what? You have showed up. You have showed up hungry to learn and to change things. And kudos to you because you are bypassing thousands of people that will never make these shifts. These are shifts that can actually, literally evolve your business success. These are all things that we have implemented at Works, and I'm sharing with you because this is the onion we worked through, guys. This is the exact recipe of how we shifted Works & Co. I also want to encourage you that you don't have to change all of these things in the same day or the same week or even the same month. Take one of them, master it, get down into the weeds, and then move on to another thing. These changes happened over the course of about 6 to 8 months at Works. So give yourself some time and some credit to know that it's okay. You are walking through this process, but every day you're actively investing in your future success. Now, part two of this is going to be episode 51. So make sure you stay tuned for the other five mistakes that are keeping your business from growing. But until then, join me this Thursday as we take our power back by letting the past go. Bye, bye, bye. For a look and listen into previous episodes, or for more gutsy insight on life and biz, follow me on Facebook and Instagram at @ThatLauraAura. And until then, stay gutsy.